Hello everyone. I am Abha Shukla. I'm Assistant Professor in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department at Babu Banarsidass University, Lucknow. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic that is OSI model in computer networks. So, topics we will be covering today will be the OSI reference model and the services provided by each layer in the OSI model. Now, OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. It actually deals with the systems that are open to communicate over a distant area. That is, systems which are open for communications with other systems at remote location. Now, OSI is considered as the reference model internationally standardized network architecture. It is specifically established in 1947 by the organization known as ISO, which stands for International Standard Organization. It is a multinational body dedicated to worldwide agreement on national standards. This model basically consists of 7 layers. So, here we have represented the 7-layer architecture of OSI model. Now, the bottom layers, which you can see is colored with red color. These 3 layers, layer 1, which is known as physical layer, layer 2, data link layer, and layer 3, network layer. These layers are considered as hardware layers of OSI model. Then the upper 3 layers, that is layer 7, application layer, layer 6, presentation layer, and layer 5, session layer. These 3 layers are considered as the hardware layer of the OSI model. Now, why we call these bottom 3 layers as hardware layers? Because over these 3 layers, we can use the hardware networking devices. But at the upper 3 layers, we cannot use any kind of hardware. Only the softwares are being used in these 3 layers. That is why these 3 layers are known as software layers. Now, the middle layer, which is the connecting layer of these 2 type of hardware and software layers, is known as the heart of the OSI model. Okay. Next, what is the function of application layer that we are going to describe in this slide? It is the topmost layer of the OSI model. It represents the services that directly support software applications for file transfers, database access, and electronic mail, etc. So, basically, this layer is used to access the network over the internet, right? Next is presentation layer. This layer is related to the representation of the transmitted data. It actually translates different data representation from the application layer into the uniform standard format so that it is understandable by the receiver node. Next is it provides services for secure, efficient data transmission. Basically, this layer performs data encryption and data compression to send the data over the network. Next layer is session layer. This layer is basically used for it actually allows 2 applications on the different computers to establish, maintain, and then end a session. Basically, what happens when 2 machines are communicating with each other to utilize the channel efficiently, the sending machine should first establish the link or connection with the other machine to which it wants to send the data. So first it will establish the connection. Then by sending the data, it will maintain the connection. And for this connection is maintained for a limited period of time. And then it needs to end the session so that the same channel can be accessed by the other machine. For example, whenever it wants to send a file at the remote location, it will first establish the connection, then it will maintain this connection, and then it will end the session. It also regulates which site transmits, plus when and how long the data can be transmitted. And also this layer performs the token management and synchronization. Synchronization means which packet will be received first at the receiver side. Now, next is transport layer. The main function of this layer is to manage the transmission of packets. It repackages the long messages when necessary into the small packets for transmission. It also reassembles packet in correct order to get the original message at the receiver side. Now, the other function performed by this layer is it handles the error recognition and recovery. This layer, the transport layer at receiving side, acknowledges packet delivery and then resends the missing packets. Whenever any packet is sent by the sender, the acknowledge has to be sent by the receiver so that the sender machine will get to know that the message has been successfully transferred. Now, if it receives the no acknowledgement packet, then the duty of the sending machine is it will retransmit the packet which has been missed because it has received no acknowledgement. So next, we are going to talk about the network layer. This is the third layer of the OSI model. Its main function is to provide addressing and routing the data within the subnet. It addresses messages and translates local addresses and names into physical addresses. It actually determines the best route from source to destination computer. And it also manages traffic problems such as switching, routing, and controlling the congestion of the packets. The routing is done by maintaining the routing table, which is updated regularly based on the static tables, and it determines at start of each session. It individually determines for each packet reflecting the current network load. So main function of this layer is to provide best route to the data to be transferred from source to destination. Next comes the data link layer. It actually packages the raw bits from the physical layer into the frames. Its main function is to convert the data bits into the frames, which is logical structured packet for data. It also provides reliable transmission of frames. It waits for an acknowledgement for the receiving computer and retransmit frames for which acknowledgement has not been received. Now, next comes the physical layer. The devices used over this layer are switches, routers, and bridges. So, it actually transmits bits from one computer to another. The signal which is coming from a receiver or sender machine, it is actually received in the form of electrical signal. The physical layer is responsible for transmitting that electrical signal into the data bits so that it can be transferred over the above layers of the OSI model. So it regulates the transmission of a stream of bits over physical medium, and it actually defines how the cable is attached to the network adapter and what transmission technique is used to send data over the cable. It deals with issues like it helps in defining the 0 and 1 bit. For example, how many volts represent 1 and how long a bit lasts, whether the channel is simplex or duplex, and how many pins a connector has and what is the function of each pin. So these all functions are performed over this physical layer. all the cabling, all the router, all the bridges and hubs are present over this layer. Now, the services in the OSI model. In OSI model, each layer provides a specific function to the layer present above it, and it also consumes the services provided by layer below each of them. The active elements in a layer called entities, and these entities in the same layer in different machines called peer entities. So next we will discuss why we require this layering in the model. What is the purpose of providing layers in any kind of reference model? So let us first understand how the communication protocol works. Suppose there is a sender and a receiver who are sitting at the remote location. So a sender wants to write a message or a letter and send it to the receiver. So first of all, he or she will write the letter and put it in envelope and will drop in a mailbox. Next, this letter is carried from the mailbox to the post office so that the receiver can receive it. So next, this letter is delivered to a carrier by the post office. Now, the parcel is carried from the source to the destination over the receiver side, right? So this layer is delivered from the carrier to the post office present at the receiver side. Now, this letter is carried from the post office to the mailbox, from where receiver will pick up the letter, remove the envelope, and then he or she would be only able to read the letter. So here we see that each layer performs different function so that the sender can send the message and receiver can receive the message with the same kind of protocol. So we always require certain layers and we need to define the function for each layer for the communication to be happen between the sender and the receiver machine. So these layers offer connection-oriented or connection-less services. Connection-oriented services means telephone system. Like in telephone system, we always require a connection. Otherwise, the communication could not take place, right? Then in connectionless services like postal system, there is no need of connection. One person will come and pick up the letter from the mailbox and will transfer it to the post office, and from there the other person at the receiver side will come and pick up the letter from the post office, then it will be delivered to the receiver. Each service has an associated quality of service, that is, it should be reliable or unreliable according to our need. So that's all for this class. Hope you like the video. Thank you so much.